Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is game day here for the Edmonton Oilers as they are taking on the Montreal Canadiens tonight at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We are going to do two separate videos, so if you're here for the Montreal Canadiens, we will be getting that side up as lots of news from both teams today. But first, if you're new to the channel, like anything NHL related or MLB related, for sure the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Blue Jays, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are, I believe, 224 away from our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who subscribed yesterday. Now let's get into it. Heartbreak overtime loss after a very solid game by the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday night against the Avalanche, who pretty much, whenever the Oilers play the Avalanche, it's a tight game. It more than likely goes to overtime, and it's just a good game overall. Edmonton getting 2 days off to kind of get themselves back to seeing how they could play against the Montreal Canadiens, getting some rest, because it was a busy February and a stretch there where I believe they played 6 games in 9 nights. These 2 days off in between games lately have been really good for the Oilers. Now, last time the Oilers faced Montreal was in Montreal. It was a 2-1 overtime win. I believe it was Evan Bouchard with the game winner during that 16-game win streak. And the boys, played okay. It wasn't their best game. They're looking to come back out and play a hard physical game tonight, as we do have some lineup news and stuff to get into. As I will just pull this up. Defenseman Vinny Desharnais will be rested in favor of regarded Troy Stecher on Tuesday, so against Montreal tonight. Desharnais was involved in a late second period fight on Saturday evening with Colorado Josh Manson, but after serving his 5-minute major and returning to the Oilers bench, the 27-year-old did not play another shift due to apparent hand injury that will keep him out of the lineup tonight. Coach Knobloch had this to say: Troy will be in. We're going to rest Desharnais a little bit, a little nagging injury, but we thought it'd be best to give him a little extra time. I agree with this. You're kind of in the middle of, you're above teams by a few points in the playoffs. You're trying to catch Vancouver. You're in that spot where, giving him a night off is okay. And you also want Troy Stecher to actually be ready to go in case something does happen in the playoffs. You don't want him riding pine until playoffs and he's cold. Giving Troy Stecher a game here, game there will help the Edmonton Oilers in the long run when it comes down to it. The opportunity presents itself for Stecher to jump back in the lineup and make his second Oilers appearance after he played 13-13 in last week's 7-2 victory over the Capitals, a debut that was cited when Matthias Ekholm was a late scratch with an illness. Of course, that game was a little bit rough for Stecher, 2 penalties there. Ekholm had this to say about Stecher: he's a really nice guy. Obviously, I was down and out the game he played, so I didn't see too much of his game, but I've seen him in practice and he's been around a long time, so I think he comes just as advertised and he'll be an important piece for us moving forward. So Ekholm praising Stecher there. Knobloch believes the 29-year-old from Richmond, BC, is in much better position this time around on his natural right side to showcase what he brings to the table. Knobloch had this to say: mostly just getting him in to play his natural side. The first game he played the left side, which makes it a little more difficult. It's enough pressure as it's playing your first game in Edmonton and wanting to make an impression, and then you're making it more difficult for him already by making him play his offside. He has a lot of experience doing that, but obviously we feel he's a better player on his natural side, his right side, and this more of an opportunity for him to play his game. So a lot of praise for Troy Stecher. Apparently been a really good guy since coming over from the Arizona Coyotes. Lineup notes for today: Picard had to settle for a 4-0 shutout in his last game. Picard will start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers against the Montreal Canadiens. as I believe the next game is against the Buffalo Sabres, and then Picard will play one of the games this upcoming weekend as they have back-to-back versus Toronto first and then the Ottawa Senators. So your lineups for tonight are Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Hyman, McLeod, centered by Draisaitl and Fogle on the other wing, Henrique with Kane and Brown, Yamark, Carrick, and Perry, with Derek Ryan being your healthy scratch tonight. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Stretcher, and Kulak with Ceci. We might see Ceci and Stretcher switch, but I'd really like to see how Stretcher can play with Darnell Nurse, and I do believe against the Montreal Canadiens, that could be kind of your go-to if Desharnais does get hurt again or whatnot. See who Stretcher can play with. I don't think you ever break up that Ekholm-Bouchard pairing, but have him kind of rotate with Nurse and Kulak to see how they pair up against other teams' top lines. I will be doing another video here for the Montreal Canadiens. They got a lot of stuff as they're coming in off of a loss to the Calgary Flames. I believe it was last night. I'll pull that up quickly here, as I think Calgary won 5-2 against the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, so they're on a back-to-back here, a doubleheader in Alberta, so they might be tired. Edmonton just needs to get out there, play a full 60-minute game. Should be a good game. A lot of Montreal fans will be in the stands for this game, so let's get that Rogers Place cheering for the Oilers and out cheering the Montreal fans. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Gillis TV. Have a good one.